Deep in the African wilderness, a wounded lioness lies helpless, her life fading fast, her unborn cubs at risk. Just when it seems all hope is gone, an unexpected hero steps forward. Would you have risked everything to save her? Tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were in his place? The African wilderness, a vast, untamed expanse stretching as far as the eye can see. The sun, dipping low in the sky, casts a golden light over the savanna. The air is thick with the scent of earth and dust, a soft breeze stirring the tall grasses. The road winds through this majestic landscape, rough and uneven, barely cutting a path through the wild. In the distance, a solitary figure drives a rugged Hummer H1, its tires kicking up clouds of dust. The man at the wheel is no stranger to these lands. A seasoned traveler, perhaps ex-military or retired ranger, he has wandered these plains for years. But today, something stirs in the air, something that will test not just his knowledge of the land, but his very soul. As the Hummer rumbles along, something catches the man's eye, a flicker of movement near the roadside. His eyes narrow, instinctively scanning the horizon. There, just off the path, lies a lioness. Her tawny coat is streaked with crimson, her body pressed low to the earth. She is tangled in a rusted snarl of barbed wire, the cruel strands wrapped tightly around her legs. A glance to her side reveals the unmistakable presence of a male lion. His muscles are tense, his eyes burning with a fire that could tear through the very soul. Yet he does not charge, he does not attack. Instead, he remains still, a silent sentinel, his gaze fixed on the stranger who has appeared from nowhere. The lioness's heavy breathing echoes in the silence of the savanna. She is heavy with life, her swollen belly a sign of her impending motherhood. But it is not the hunger of the male lion that troubles her. It is the wire slicing into her flesh, trapping her in a struggle she cannot win alone. The man, seasoned and silent, knows what he must do, yet 1,000 questions flicker through his mind. What is the male lion thinking? Will he allow this stranger to approach? And if he does, will the lioness live? The Hummer halts. The engine's rumble fades into the quiet of the savanna, leaving behind a heavy silence. The wind shifts, carrying with it the metallic scent of blood. The male lion paces, his gaze flickering between the man and the lioness. Every part of this scene warns the man, stay away. This is the domain of kings. The lion's posture is one of guardianship, not aggression. His eyes, fiery and intelligent, scan the man's every movement. The man knows that to approach, to try and help, will be to cross an unspoken boundary, the boundary between human and wild. Yet something deeper stirs within him. It is not fear that holds him in place, nor a fool's hope that he can somehow control the situation. It is understanding, a flicker of shared fragility, that makes him step forward. His instincts tell him to leave, but his heart, guided by something far older than reason, tells him to stay. He reaches for the emergency kit in his vehicle. There is no tranquilizer, only a wire cutter, small and inadequate for the task before him. But it will have to suffice. The decision is made. The man will go forward, and he will risk everything for a life that is not his own. He opens the door slowly, his boots crunching softly on the dry earth. The wind whips around him, carrying the scent of wildness and danger. He takes a step, then another, moving cautiously toward the trapped lioness. The male lion watches intently, his eyes flickering with a mix of suspicion and resolve. There is no roar, no thunderous charge. The lioness does not lunge for him. Instead, she lies still, her breath shallow and uneven, her body trembling with pain. The man understands. This is not an act of submission. It is a plea for help. She's not fighting him, but she's not trusting him either. The man lowers himself to one knee, his hand extended, palm open. He does not speak to command, but to soothe, his voice low and steady. The lioness shifts slightly, flinching as the wire digs deeper into her flesh, but she does not retreat. The male lion remains vigilant, his eyes locked on the man. Time stretches, the air thick with tension. The man, his heart pounding in his chest, reaches for the barbed wire. His fingers graze the metal, cold, sharp, and unforgiving. Yet there is no other choice. If he does not help, the lioness will perish. He cuts the first strand of wire. The lioness flinches but does not fight. Her eyes are dull with pain, but there's a flicker of understanding in them. She knows somehow that he means no harm. Each snip of the wire is a soft, agonizing sound, a whisper of freedom and a plea for it. The man's hands tremble as they work, the weight of each decision heavy in the air. The lioness's breaths come in labored gasps, her swollen belly shifting with the subtle movements of the cubs within. Every moment counts. The male lion continues to watch, his muscles coil ready for action. His eyes flicker with tension, but he makes no move to stop the man. Perhaps he senses the man's intent. Perhaps in some ancient corner of his soul, he understands that this man is not an enemy. The wire cutter bites through another strand, and the man feels the tension ease in the lioness's body. She exhales a shaky breath. The final strand is all that remains. The male lion gives a low rumble, a sound unlike any the man has heard before. It is not a growl, not a roar. It is something deeper, like distant thunder, resonating with a primal force. The lioness shifts again, her body now free from the wire's cruel grip. She stumbles, collapsing momentarily onto the earth, her breath ragged. The man steps back, his hands bloody, his heart racing. The lioness's eyes flutter open, and for a brief moment, they meet his. In that gaze, there's no fear, no hostility. There is only the raw, quiet recognition of a life saved. The male lion's rumble deepens, a sound of gratitude, of something beyond words. Then, slowly, the lioness rises, her limbs unsteady but determined. She moves toward the male, who steps forward, and the two of them stand together for a moment, united, free, and unbroken. The man steps back, his hands raised in silent surrender. He watches as the lioness limps toward the male, who nuzzles her gently. Together, they look at the man, their guardian, their savior, the one who dared cross the line. Then, with a final glance, they turn and disappear into the tall grasses, their silhouettes fading against the last light of day. The man stands there, his breath heavy, his heart still racing. Blood stains his hands, and yet it does not feel like a mark of violence. It is a mark of something deeper, something that cannot be explained in words. He has touched the wild. He has crossed the boundary between man and beast, not as a conqueror, but as a fellow creature struggling in the same world. As he watches the lions vanish into the vastness of the savannah, a single tear escapes his eye. A tear not of sorrow, but of profound connection. As the sun sets, casting its final golden rays across the savannah, the man drives on. The Hummer's tires kick up dust, but he no longer feels like a traveler. Today, he has been part of something much larger than himself, a story that will remain with him for the rest of his days. We often see ourselves as separate from nature. He reflects quietly, masters of it, observers. But today, one man stood between life and death, not as a savior, not as a hero, but simply as a fellow creature on this earth. The hidden dangers of barbed wire fencing and so-called protected lands often go unnoticed. Yet their silent toll on wildlife is both heartbreaking and, at times, inevitable in the delicate balance between human advancement and the natural world. Ultimately, it's the shared fragility of all life that connects us, wild creatures and the humans who choose to stand for them. In nature, survival is usually a matter of strength, instinct, and chance. But every so often, it rests on a single act of compassion. One man's bravery gave a mother lioness a second chance and reminded us that even in the harshest parts of the wild, there is still room for kindness. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.